Hello, everyone. What is going on, Colts Nation? I'm Eric Smith, your host of the Colts Cast today. Hey, I've been out of commission here lately because we just had a newborn. So our first one, little girl, she's consumed most of my time recently. But I'm back part-time. But I got to catch a good bit of the NFL Combine in the hospital. It's gonna sound like a chalk in, but Xavier Worthy, of course, he impressed. He broke John Ross's 40-yard dash record of 4.22 with an official 4.21. Doesn't get better than that. It doesn't. That is an impressive feat on its own. So you might ask, Eric, everyone is going to want the fastest wide receiver ever in the draft. Why should we take him? Could we end up with a bust like John Ross? Y'all remember John Ross. Everyone remembers John Ross. Let's discuss here, Colts Nation, but please remember to like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts. It's the best way to support us as it gets our video out to other passionate Colts fans like yourself. And ladies and gentlemen, it is completely free. Sip on an IPA while I do this thing solo. Jamal's not here right now. He's got some other things going on, but we're going to get back together jointly sooner rather than later. We just have hectic schedules going on right now. All right. I kind of want to preface this. Like we've been talking about wide receivers a lot lately. I think it speaks volume to how many receivers we've talked about in this upcoming draft. I mean, we started talking about this 2024 class since I want to say in 2023, like mid-season. Like we were talking about it because we didn't know how the Colts season would go essentially. But we overachieved. But anyway, John Ross. Let's start with him. He was a bust for one thing, availability. He injured his calves, after that 40-yard dash, I believe. His knees were needed in medical evaluation, had multiple shoulder labrum tears. He was the definition of high risk, high reward. But he ended up missing a ton of games due to injury. Top 10 pick that wasn't available, automatic bust. Enter Xavier Worthy. He is worthy. He is worthy. I'll tell you all why. The fastest NFL prospect ever. Small frame. Let's get this out of the way. We're going to start with, get the ugly out of the way. 5'11", 165 pounds. That's a thin frame. I'm pretty sure Josh Downs is heavier. Someone confirm that for me. But I am pretty sure Josh Downs is heavier. He has the potential to get, just ragdolled by NFL defensive backs. Really. Because, a lot of them are 30 pounds heavier. Anyway, pros outweigh the cons. Speed kills. Like I said, 4.21 40-yard dash. Every scout in the building that day probably had their jaws on the floor. He has the ability to take the top off a defense at any given moment. At any given moment. Imagine the potential deep ball game in Shane Steichen's offense with Anthony Richardson under center. Just imagine that. Just imagine for a little bit. This offense, this team in general, I mean, there's high expectations, I feel like, going into next season. Because, we had a winning season, essentially, with a backup quarterback and all the other pitfalls that happened. I don't know. I feel like that we're going to make a jump. If the corner makes one mistake or if there's zero safety help and Worthy gets the jump, or you just have someone that's a threat to stretch the field, that can stretch the field. All this can be an asset to the Colts offense. That's going to give more room for Richardson and Taylor to operate, opens up the middle of the field. Chris Ballard wants an explosive offense, right? This is one way to do it. Like we said before, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. I can just envision that Steichen can scheme up some free releases for him. So that press coverage, knock on him, he might get manhandled there. Wouldn't it be a huge limiting factor because we have a mastermind genius at the helm. He can line up slot or wide, quick accelerator, superb route runner. I love route runners. Sign me up. He's not a one-trick pony. He's not. I think the floor, you could probably say, is a deep ball specialist. I would say his ceiling is something like a mini Deshaun Jackson. Smaller, thin frame Deshaun Jackson. I really think that could be a ceiling. Like he has value on special teams. But the speed, the insane sprinter speed that comes with Xavier Worthy, I think just can devastate opposing defenses. That additional stress will create more opportunities for everyone else. Thus, that upgrades our offense to new heights. And that's what we want to do here, right? That's what we want to do in Anthony Richardson's second season. Second season under Shane Steichen, this new era that we're ushering in, that's what we need to do. We need to add weapons. How we should add them, that's up for debate by everyone in Colts Nation. But this guy doesn't come with that injury risk that Ross had. And he won't be a top 10 pick. To me, medium risk, high reward, in my humble opinion. So I see him being a potential late first round pick at the highest. I think, just the way he, set himself up at the combine, like, 40-yard dashes and everything, but it's one of the more flashier ones. If you're fast, like, people love that. So I think he's more likely going to be a middle to late second round pick. And that's where the Colts come in. We have a second round pick. There's a lot of ways the Colts could utilize their first round pick. Brian Thomas Jr. could be an option still. I know a lot of people like him, and he's out of LSU. What receiver out of LSU has failed? No, but Brock Bowers could slide to us. Terrion Arnold should still be an option. He made the cornerback drills it looked easy. It looked easy for him. I like that. Maybe a pass rusher. Maybe trade down to load up on day 2 or the next year. Value Ballard. Value Ballard. You know it. Everybody knows it. That's probably not even half of the scenarios we could think of. That's my point. This is going to be, this isn't going to be like last year, where it was 99% Anthony Richardson or Will Levis. Like, that's what we're doing at a number 4 pick. Bryce Young won't be there. CJ Stroud won't be there. We have those two choices essentially. But here, anything goes. Xavier Worthy, I believe, presents another solution for the Indianapolis Colts at a position group that isn't top notch. Elite speed is hard to come by, and I'd love to see what this coaching staff can do with him schematically. Again, this wide receiver class, it's scary how good it is. It seems on paper, But enough of what I think. Let me know your thoughts if you're on YouTube, of course. If you got to the end of this episode on Xavier Worthy, he is worthy. It should be, Chris Ballard and crew, they should be looking at him too. That's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. And we'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. Y'all take care.